Tonight, several breaking stories as we come on the air. The emergency playing out right now. They are trying to save lives. The out-of-control fire, homes burning to the ground. President-elect Donald Trump has just announced his chief of staff making history. In New York, the tour bus off the interstate, multiple passengers injured. First tonight, the images coming in right now. The emergency unfolding, explosive fires forcing more than 10,000 people from their homes. Firefighters racing to save lives. The flames so hot, water from the fire hoses turning to vapor. Matt Gutman near the front lines north of Los Angeles. Also just in tonight, President-elect Donald Trump chooses his chief of staff, an historic pick. And what Trump said today about his promise on the campaign trail of a mass deportation on day one. In New York, the frightening crash, a tour bus off the interstate and rolling over on Interstate 490. All of the passengers injured, some rushed to the hospital, others dazed and wandering the highway. The alleged highway shooter, images late today, a SWAT team swarming this home of an alleged gunman accused of targeting multiple cars and homes along I-40 in Raleigh. Tonight, multiple sources now telling ABC News hackers working for China broke into the phone used by Donald Trump's lead criminal defense attorney. They were able to get text messages and recordings of calls made on the phone. Tonight, Vladimir Putin congratulating President-elect Trump and suggesting a new world order is forming. In New York City, the frightening scene, a gunman escaping into the subway after allegedly opening fire on his boss on Manhattan's Upper West Side. Tonight, 43 monkeys escaping from a research lab in the U.S. and now the warning from authorities tonight. The FDA considering a ban on certain over-the-counter decongestants. They say they don't work. And remembering the man behind those three words, "You've got mail."
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Thursday night. Just in tonight, President-elect Donald Trump naming his chief of staff, making history with his pick. Rachel Scott is standing by with that, but we begin tonight with the emergency unfolding right now. The race to save lives north of Los Angeles tonight. Red flag warnings for more than 18 million people in Southern California. These are the pictures. More than 14,000 people forced to evacuate already. The mountain fire raging in Ventura County near Los Angeles, racing through 30 square miles in a day. 0% contained tonight. The fire jumping from one home to another. A reporter flying over the fire, estimating dozens of homes are already lost tonight. The fire is burning at one point at 2,000 acres an hour. Firefighters battling the flames and the winds, choppers dropping fire retardant. Emergency crews right now focused on saving lives. ABC's chief national correspondent Matt Gutman leading us off right near the fire lines, right outside Los Angeles tonight.
Tonight, the massive out-of-control wildfire raging west of Los Angeles. Firefighters racing to save lives as homes burn to the ground.
It's like trying to put out a blowtorch with a squirt gun.
I'm going to bring a copter over here.
Chinook helicopters dumping water on the roaring flames, embers flying in the howling wind. Apocalyptic scenes as firefighters on the ground threw everything they had at it.
This fire has spotted more than 2.5 miles out in front of itself. Bushes are burning, grass is burning, hedgerows are burning, agricultural fields are burning, and structures are burning.
I got up on the roof and started hosing down the roof, and then it just started coming, and they started evacuating us.
Steve Taylor watching the flames burn what's left of the Camarillo home he's owned for more than 40 years.
We would celebrate Christmas Eve here every year, and Thanksgiving, and those memories we have, but the place is gone.
At one point, the fire burning more than 2,000 acres an hour.
We counted 83 homes that have been destroyed, and I'm afraid that number is going to be much closer to 100 because it's hard for us to get a perfect count.
The fire lighting up houses on either side of the street here like matchsticks. The wind so powerful, near hurricane force, that it turned the water from the fire hoses of firefighters into vapor, and it was so dangerous here until just a couple of hours ago. They've just now begun the damage assessment.
So like medication, some blankets.
After 61 years, this is what we have left.
After 61 years, this is all you have left?
81-year-old Jan had to run out of what had been her 3-story home.
My husband is blind, and I'm responsible for him. So all I wanted to think was get him in the car, get him out, and I just was in action. I mean, I haven't cried yet. That was probably going to come, but I haven't cried yet.
David, you can hear the air attack, and you can see that helicopter right above us right now. They've been trying to put out these hot spots, but the embers cast by this fire with that ferocious wind. You can see the water coming pouring down right now, the helicopter, just about 100 feet over our heads. The embers in the wind have been so ferocious, it's cast them miles ahead of the fire itself, and that's the concern going forward tonight. Where else is the fire burning where the firefighters can't see? This is not nearly over yet, we're told. David.
Matt Gutman leading us off tonight. Just incredible, Matt. Thank you. The other breaking headline at this hour, President-elect Donald Trump making his first appointment and making history with his choice tonight, naming his campaign manager, Susie Wiles, to the powerful position of White House Chief of Staff, the first woman in that post. Wiles has been at Trump's side throughout the campaign, Trump calling her tough, smart, innovative, and universally admired and respected. Trump's transition team also planning actions he'll take on day one. And President Biden today, what he said about his phone call with President-elect Trump and what he said about his Vice President Kamala Harris and her run for president. Rachel Scott in West Palm Beach, Florida tonight.
Tonight, President-elect Donald Trump announcing the first member of his administration, selecting his campaign manager, Susie Wiles, for the powerful role of White House Chief of Staff.
Susie likes to stay sort of in the back, let me tell you. The Ice Maiden, we call her the Ice Maiden.
Wiles, one of Trump's most trusted advisors.
Susie likes to stay in the background. She's not in the background.
Tonight, Trump calling Wiles tough, smart, innovative, universally admired and respected, noting that she will also become the first woman ever to serve as White House Chief of Staff. Wiles is something else too, loyal. Trump's son, Don Jr., making it clear that's a key qualification for the new administration.
I'm going to be heavily involved on the transition. I want to make sure now that we know who the real players are, the people who will actually deliver on the president's message, the people who don't think that they know better than the duly elected president of the United States.
Trump's team also moving quickly to execute his day one priority, a crackdown on illegal immigration.
America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate.
Sources tell ABC News one of Trump's first orders of business will be to rescind any Biden administration policies that expanded opportunities for migrants to live and work in the U.S. We are also told Trump's aides are focused on how to carry out his promise of the largest mass deportation operation in American history. Today, when asked how much that would cost, Trump would only say, it's not a question of a price tag. It's not. Really, we have no choice. Sources tell us the operation would initially target undocumented immigrants who have committed crimes. Trump's sweep of all 7 battlegrounds, a demonstration of his resounding victory. He made inroads into the Latino community, winning 55% of Latino men. He also won 56% of first-time voters, doubling his support from 2020. And he won a majority of working-class Americans, long the backbone of the Democratic Party. But this year, 50% of voters making under $100,000 a year. Today at the White House, President Biden addressing the election results.
Yesterday, I spoke with President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory. And I assured him that I'd direct my entire administration to work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. That's what the American people deserve.
Biden saying he's proud of his Vice President, Kamala Harris.
She ran an inspiring campaign, and everyone got to see something that I learned early on to respect so much, her character. She has a backbone like a ramrod. She has great character, true character. She gave her whole heart and effort, and she and her entire team should be proud of the campaign they ran.
His message to the nation, this is how democracy works.
Campaigns are contests of competing visions. The country chooses one or the other. We accept the choice the country made. I've said many times, you can't love your country only when you win. You can't love your neighbor only when you agree. Something I hope we can do, no matter who you voted for, is see each other not as adversaries, but as fellow Americans.
And David, selecting Susie Wiles to become his chief of staff is the first major decision that Donald Trump is making as president-elect. I'm told that loyalty was a big factor in this decision. Wiles has been quietly behind his political operation for 4 years now. There's probably not any advisor that was more critical to his success for his third bid for the White House. And tonight we're also learning that Trump's team of advisors is putting together a short list for other cabinet positions, including Attorney General. David.
Susie Wiles making history tonight. Rachel Scott with us live. Rachel, thanks. In upstate New York, the frightening crash, a tour bus rolling over on Interstate 490 near Rochester during an overnight trip from New York City to Niagara Falls. All 28 people on board were injured. A dozen trapped inside, others injured, dazed, and wandering the highway. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, frightening images in western New York. A tour bus overturning on the interstate. Everyone on board injured. A dozen passengers trapped inside.
You see a bus flipped on its side and people literally walking in a state of confusion on the side of the road trying to figure out what just happened to them. It was surreal.
The bus took off from New York City around midnight, bound for Niagara Falls. The crash happening around 7 a.m. on I-490 in the Rochester suburb Chi-Line.
The bus left the roadway, re-entered the roadway, eventually flipped, ended up on its side where it slid probably approximately 200 yards before it came to a stop.
First responders on the scene removing at least one passenger through a roof hatch.
There was a total of 28 patients, one critical. One of those was pediatric.
The driver's now facing multiple vehicle and traffic tickets, including fatigue driving and unreasonable speeding in excess of 70 miles per hour.
And David, authorities are now reviewing footage from the bus cameras to determine how exactly this crash occurred. David?
All right, Trevor Ault with us. Thank you, Trevor. Tonight, the alleged highway shooter accused of targeting multiple cars and homes along I-90 in Raleigh, North Carolina. Here's ABC's Faith Abubey.
Tonight, heavily armed police swarming this home after a string of terrifying shootings in Raleigh, North Carolina. At least a dozen cars and homes hit by gunfire.
Alerting for shots into a vehicle at I-40 eastbound.
All the shootings happening on or near Interstate 40 since Monday, many during the early morning hours.
We understand that the community is concerned and fear naturally follows.
One woman shot and wounded in the leg.
I have a child, and she goes, to school really close, so it's definitely frightening.
Late today, police taking two people into custody, captured in this video by our station WTVD. Authorities say one is a person of interest.
The person of interest was inside the residence as well as someone else that's tied to that residence.
And David, tonight police have now revealed any possible motive behind this shooting, but they are, however, stepping up patrols in the area. David.
Faith Abubey tonight. Faith, thank you. Next year this evening, multiple sources telling ABC News hackers working for China broke into the phone used by Donald Trump's lead criminal defense attorney, Todd Blanche, and were able to get text messages and able to record calls made on that phone. Here's Aaron Katersky tonight.
Tonight, new details on the length Chinese spies will go to infiltrate American politics and President-elect Trump. Multiple sources tell ABC News hackers working for China's intelligence service broke into the phone used by Trump's lead criminal defense attorney, Todd Blanche. The sources say in the lead up to the election, the hackers gained access to Blanche's text messages and captured audio recordings of some of his calls. We're told most of the communications involved family and friends, but tonight the FBI is working to determine whether more sensitive contacts were compromised. Sources tell us Blanche is under consideration for a role in the new administration after he defended Trump against criminal charges in New York and in two federal cases. The hack's part of a sweeping Chinese cyber espionage campaign to collect the private communications of prominent American officials. ABC News previously reported the Chinese attempted to hack phones used by Trump himself, Vice President-elect J.D. Vance, and people affiliated with the Harris campaign by infiltrating U.S. telecommunications firms like Verizon, Lumen, and AT&T. The Chinese clearly have the know-how to do this to anyone, David, but a senior U.S. intelligence official tells us they're really interested in people with access to American secrets, the kind China could use to shape policy, boost its military, or crush the American economy. David?
Aaron Katersky tonight. Aaron, thank you. From China to Russia now. And tonight, Russian President Vladimir Putin congratulating President-elect Donald Trump, saying a new world order is forming. Let's bring in our chief foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell. Ian, what do you make of this?
Yeah, David, I mean, this was an upbeat and confident Putin speaking in the wake of that election victory, calling NATO out of date. As you say, he claims a new world order's taking shape. The Russian leader taking questions. He seems to be enjoying the moment, congratulating Trump, praising him for acting, quotes, courageously like a man after that failed assassination attempt. And he says campaign promises to restore relations with Russia and the Ukraine war deserve attention. Putin saying he's ready to talk to Trump, but the president can't make peace without Zelensky and Putin, and bringing the two warring parties together will likely require not just a carrot, but a stick too. David?
Ian Pannell, our chief foreign correspondent. Ian, thank you. Back here in the U.S. tonight, and one note on the economy. Tonight, the Federal Reserve cutting its key interest rate again, another quarter percentage point. The second cut now that inflation is closing in on the 2% target. Consumers may soon see slightly lower interest rates on credit cards, auto and home equity loans as well. When we come back here tonight in New York City, the frightening scene of gunman escaping into the subway after allegedly opening fire on his boss on New York's Upper West Side, and 43 monkeys escaping a research lab in the U.S. and the warning tonight now from authorities in a moment. Tonight, a 13-year-old student is in custody accused of an attempted school shooting plot in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Authorities say the student entered Roosevelt Elementary School carrying a backpack and duffel bag. The student intercepted by school staff. They believe the child was, in fact, carrying a gun. In New York City, a manhunt is underway for the gunman accused of shooting an ex-boss on Manhattan's Upper West Side. The suspect fired at least 6 shots, hitting the victim in the leg and shoulder. The suspect then ran into the subway at 72nd Street and Central Park West. Passengers evacuated, trains delayed. The suspect has not been found. The victim is expected to survive. Tonight, dozens of monkeys are on the loose after escaping a research lab in Beaufort County, South Carolina. 43 monkeys getting out of the Alpha Genesis facility. A door to their enclosure was not secured. Authorities say there's no health risk to humans, but residents are being urged to lock their doors and windows, and if they see one of the monkeys, to call 911. When we come back here tonight, the FDA considering a ban on some common decongestants, and remembering the man behind those 3 famous words from the movie, "You've Got Mail." To the index of other news, the FDA proposing a ban on certain over-the-counter cold medicines containing an ingredient that health officials say does not work. The ban would include dozens of nasal decongestants made with oral phenylephrine, which is said to be ineffective. Other medications, which include pseudoephedrine, antihistamines, and nasal sprays, are known to be effective. They'll still be available. A passing to note tonight, he was the unmistakable voice of the internet.
You've got mail.
We learned today that Elwood Edwards has died after a long illness, the iconic voice of AOL, famous for those 3 words, "You've got mail." He recorded 4 lines in all, receiving just $200 for his work. Even a movie with those 3 words. He died one day before his 75th birthday. When we come back tonight, the surprise for teachers in classrooms across this country, the football stars, and their moving thank you.
ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for nearly 160 years.
Finally tonight here, the high school football stars and the tradition growing across this country, their way of saying thank you. Tonight, across America, the remarkable gifts from high school football players to their teachers to the staff members who moved them.
Wow, thank you.
It's become a tradition, seniors on the football team giving away an honorary jersey with their names on the back to the teachers who made a difference in their lives. In Cincinnati, Ohio,
hey David, welcome to Taft.
The Taft Tech football team surprising their teachers.
Thank you, honey. I needed this today.
That senior defensive lineman and offensive guard, Drayden Pavey, surprising Miss Susan Coakley, his art teacher. Tonight here, Drayden telling us what she means to him.
She honestly means the world to me. Every day I went in there, she just made me happy, put a smile on my face, and always asked if I was okay.
Miss Coakley telling us she was moved.
I was just as important to him as he is to me.
In West Des Moines, Iowa, at Valley High School, they're knocking on doors, surprising teachers in their classrooms and hallways. King Coleman with his counselor, Eric Traynor.
That really means a lot to me. I love you, buddy.
Zay Robinson with activities janitor, Jonathan Whitford.
His smile and his energy just brings joy to my life.
And right here tonight,
Hi, David.
The team on their teachers and their impact.
It shows them what impact they made on you.
Those people have left such an impact on me.
It's an awesome feeling just to be able to show my appreciation.
They go day in, day out helping us.
And at Estacada High School in Estacada, Oregon, they have their jerseys ready too.
All right.
Hey, David.
Senior Elliot Coyle, middle linebacker, running back, and captain, on why they do it.
We wanted to give back to them after making such an impact on our lives.
Johnny Cruz, a center and captain.
You impacted me in high school, and I want you to wear my jersey to homecoming.
Surprising Tammy Yeager, the principal's secretary.
Thank you.
And right here tonight,
hey, David.
Johnny Cruz, grateful.
She has helped me so much over the last 4 years. She's helped me with schoolwork. She's helped me with personal problems.
And this evening, joining us too.
Hey, David.
Ms. Yeager, the principal's secretary, proud.
I'm very fortunate to have a front row seat and watching these young men, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for them.
Really incredible. The stars on the field proving their stars off, too. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.